Hello, this is Money Matters, and I'm DCrowell from Mortgage Network, hosting today. My co-host, Emily Johnson, is away. Emily is the founder of Polaris Capital, a financial advisory firm, and she's traveling. So, DCrowell, Mortgage Network, I'll be hosting Money Matters. In the first segment, I'd like to talk about the big outside world and what impact it's having on the economy, on the economy at large, on our investments, and on potentially the local economy here. Every week, as we look at the big picture and try to identify its impact on our local picture, one of the things that I emphasize over and over again is that there are various ways in which local economies are specific and independent from the general economy at large. And Hilton Head, Bluffton, the Low Country, is a very strong example of this economic independence or almost economic dislocation from the economy at large. For example, the majority of the dollars flowing into Hilton Head flow here from outsiders, from people who come from somewhere else. So the resort and the resort economy, which involves coming here for a temporary stay, leaving significant dollars behind, is clearly an example, and that's the number one segment in the economy. The real estate segment of the economy is number two in the local, broader Bluffton Hilton Head economy. It's the second largest dollar segment behind the resort segment, and in terms of earnings, in terms of earned income. And real estate segment, again, its main wellspring, its main source of energy economically is buyers from outside Hilton Head and outside of Bluffton. The baby boom, as I reiterate frequently, the baby boom, which a lead edge of which became 65 6 years ago, in 1970, in 2011, is in full retirement mode at this point, and there's another 15 years to come. So this is a huge number of people, a big blip in the population base, and as a boxcar market, meaning a market of people whose needs are specific and unique and who are moving forward in an age-driven boxcar. This huge boxcar market has moved into the Hilton Head Bluffton market and is going to be staying here for the next 15 years. So every available piece of real estate will be purchased by outside buyers retiring here and by support people who live here who are providing the goods and services for the outsiders. So that's a second huge economic driver which makes us unique. Then, characteristic of retirement communities and any communities that have a age profile that is older than the norm, the third largest economic driver in our area are all medical services combined. So in Bluffton, Hilton Head, what you've seen over the last decade is an enormous growth in the dollars generated by the healthcare industry in all of its many aspects, from hospital growth to physician practices to assisted living facilities. All of those are growing enormously, and represent the third largest, first being resort, second being real estate, the third being healthcare industry, the third largest segment of our local economy. Now, all three of these things are obviously quite different than Baltimore, Maryland, and different again from Boston, and different again from Columbia, South Carolina. Slightly similar to Charleston, but different again from Charleston. So you really, there's an old expression that all politics is local. Well, there's a similarity in the fact that each mini economy, each area economy, has certain characteristics that make it distinct from the whole. And in the cases of some local economies, those distinctions are huge. In other words, there's not a whole lot of difference between the economic flow in Augusta, Georgia, and the economic flow in Columbia, and the economic flow in a lot of the small regional cities. But there's a vast difference in the economic flow in a place like Hilton Head. The other very interesting thing here, locally, other very interesting thing, is the demographic shift is not just baby boomers coming and retiring and vacationing here and retiring here. Remember, the timeshare industry, which everybody kind of looks at with a jaundiced eye from time to time. Remember, the timeshare industry is really supporting the ability of many people to come to Hilton Head, experience Hilton Head, and vacation here on a regular basis. I don't have the statistics, and I don't know of anybody who has precise statistics, but it is certainly the case that the timeshare industry provides a major pie slice of the people who go on to be buyers in Hilton Head. Come here for 5-6 years in a row, vacationing for a couple of weeks, and get to know the island, get to love it, and end up buying the vacation property here, the second home here, which ultimately becomes a retirement home. So it's a very interesting part of it. But the other thing that I wanted to point out is that there's two pieces to our demographic story here. The other piece is that Bluffton has absolutely become not the tail of the dog, not the outskirts of Hilton Head any longer, but quite the reverse. Bluffton has become very much the economic center, with Hilton Head being the resort community that happens to be nearby Bluffton. Bluffton is a booming area with jobs pouring into the general geographic area, and it has its own identity, it has its own resources, and is becoming very much a force that over time will become much more allied with the economic corridor running from Savannah up through Beaufort, with Bluffton in between. It'll become an economic corridor with Hilton Head stuck out on the coast as a nice little jewel. Palmetto Bluff stuck out on the coast as a nice little jewel. But the economic corridor will be much more Savannah, Hardyville, Bluffton, Beaufort, all the way up to Charleston. It's that demographic is young families, workers, people earning a living, two-income families, a great number of folks being served by the national home builders, surging market, the D.R. Hortons, the Hovnanians, the Village Park communities, all of these communities delivering extraordinary value for the dollar, for $200,000 houses, $300,000 houses, $400,000 houses. Extraordinary value. And then in the middle of all of that, yet more major retirement communities, such as Sun City and Hampton Lake and Hampton Hall, and these wonderful communities. So that's it for the moment. We'll be back shortly, and we'll have another topic.